What is going on with Watch Dogs Legion? PlayStation is now cancelling pre-orders for the game by sending people messages, and if you now search Legion in the PlayStation Store, then it's nowhere to be found, like no store page or way to pre-order. The game has of course been delayed, but we don't know a new release date right now, although I think that will change very soon, also because there are not many options left. Plus we got some new info on the game because Ubisoft has been communicating again. I want to round it all down in this video. A like on the video would be really appreciated. And let's go. You might already be aware, but there's still time to enter my giveaway for a 2020 game of your choice on your platform of choice, including Watch Dogs Legion. All you need to do is click the link in the pinned comment for a chance to win, and be sure you are a subscriber of the channel before you enter. I will reach out to the winner via the email on February 1st. I really can't wait to play Watch Dogs Legion. The idea that you can recruit everyone in the world and have them join your 20-man strong team sounds very cool and is not really done before. And combine that with the futuristic London that looks awesome, some interesting progression systems that let you create the perfect operative via different classes and their perks, and I can totally see myself get lost in this world. I will have one person focused on stealth with the AR cloak and the awesome melee takedowns, while another character will be my enforcer that just brutally kills everyone if necessary. The question now is, when can we make our own team? We first got the March 6th release date at E3 with a March 3rd early access for Gold and Ultimate Edition owners, but now that date has been changed to just 2020, as we also see on the official Ubisoft Store website. And the Ubisoft support website notes 2020 as well. I know some people were maybe worried that it got delayed into 2021, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Between July 2020 and the end of the year is what Ubisoft communicated when the game got delayed to improve the quality back in October last year. It will also be a cross-gen game. All the upcoming Ubisoft games, including Gods and Monsters and Rainbow Six Quarantine, and then 2 still unannounced games from their biggest franchises, will release on the current gen hardware and on the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. But I think the current gen versions of Watch Dogs Legion will be available before those consoles hit in the holiday of 2020. And one of the reasons is that Ubisoft very likely has a new Assassin's Creed planned for the end of the year. Like an Assassin's Creed Black Flag situation, that game launched on October 29th, 2013 for PS3, PC and Xbox 360, and then weeks later for the Xbox One and PS4 when those consoles released. Black Flag shipped 10 million units by December 31st, 2013, something that Ubisoft likely wants to repeat again this holiday, and also every big Assassin's Creed game launches in the fall because of the increased sales, of course, during the pre-Christmas period. So a very low chance that they will delay the Viking game because Watch Dogs got delayed, meaning that I don't think they will release Watch Dogs Legion close to the end of 2020 because they then already have Assassin's Creed. So then September would be a logical month, but we got Cyberpunk 2077 launching on September 17th, also an open world RPG futuristic style of game that will eat Watch Dogs alive if Watch Dogs releases too close. And don't get me wrong, like both games look awesome, I can't wait to play both, but CD Projekt Red only releases a new title in like 5 years or so. It is the most anticipated game for many, and if it has as much content as The Witcher 3, then a lot of people will be playing it for a long time. So no, the smartest thing, and I think the only thing they can really do, is release Watch Dogs Legion before Cyberpunk, as was originally planned as well with the March release when Cyberpunk still had to come out in April. Like a month in between would be great, so that's why I think they will release Watch Dogs Legion in mid-August. I already said Tuesday, August 18th for early access, August 21st for the standard edition release. That is my bet, it makes the most sense. You also don't want to release too close to the dry month that is July. Like we never really see big game releases in July because everyone is on holiday, etc. And as the Watch Dogs Twitter account notes, the pre-orders on console will be available again when the new release date gets announced. So that's also why publishers announce release dates sometimes so early, so they can already take pre-orders after the announcement when the hype is like really high. So I think Watch Dogs Legion will return to the digital storefronts very soon. There have actually been some new articles about the game like a few days ago. Like Mark Cieslak recently went to Ubisoft Toronto to get an interview with Clint Hawkin, the creative director on Watch Dogs Legion, inside the game. Like, really cool how they did this. They scanned Mark so he could appear in the game, and Clint as well. And then they did their interview in a motion capture studio that then transformed them onto the futuristic streets of London. It's really well done. Also, when Clint is talking about the drones, you see them pass by. Like, check this out.
Well, Mark, things are changing around us all the time, and every day we have to look at what's happening in the world and make decisions about what we're going to be able to include in our simulation. We look at, regulations for drones flying in the skies or autonomous vehicles in traffic, and we have to think, are these things that we want to include in our simulation and make playable for players in our game universe? So it's something we think about a great deal.
Clint Hocking, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
This is Mark Chislak for BBC News in a virtual version of London.
And this was Clint's reply, by the way, when Mark asked if the game would include more real-world events like Brexit. Not a lot of info from this interview overall though, but Mark did go to the studio and played the game there too with some other people, as we shortly see in the BBC footage. So there was an event at Ubisoft Toronto recently, and that is normally when there is something new to share or when they want to bring attention to the game again. And any release date announcement would of course go hand in hand with that, also because then people can pre-order the game again. And Ubisoft will also do their financial meeting to report on how they are doing as a company on February 6th. And one of the questions from the investors will totally be about Cyberpunk's new release date and how Ubisoft is going to tackle that when they have at least 3 but likely 4 games planned for the same second half of 2020 window. So to already get out before that financial meeting by sharing the new date for Watch Dogs Legion will put the investors' worry to rest. And even if they don't announce the release date before February 6th, then we should at least have some new info regarding the release window after that meeting. I will of course keep you up to date here on the channel. At the end of 2019 there was also a developer panel at EGLX, the largest Canadian video game expo. User Watch Dogs Discord recorded the whole thing, and there were some small pieces of info here and there. Like, for example, permadeath is of course a huge part of this game, so when a character dies, you will lose them forever. But before that happens, you sometimes also have the chance to send the person to the prison instead, so then you will get them back eventually. During the panel, it was noted that even online, permadeath seems to be a thing. We know Watch Dogs Legion will have a 4-player co-op mode. We have actually one image of that. But yeah, they really want the stakes to be high across the whole game. And I'm really curious how this will shake out in Legion. The previous Watch Dogs games, of course, had some sort of competitive multiplayer where you could kill the other player. So does that mean that in Legion you can kill the operative of another player that is then gone forever? That is pretty hardcore. That's at least what the devs implied during that dev panel, but this should also mean that if you just want to have some fun in the open world with your friends, something you should be able to do in Legion, then you still have to be careful because otherwise you lose your character permanently. I think at least the option to have a casual mode might be a good idea, but let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. We of course have to wait and see how brutal this really is when we learn more about the multiplayer at some point, and I really can't wait to see new gameplay and learn how the game has been improved since we last saw it at E3 and where I was lucky enough to play it, as you see right here. The Watch Dogs Legion companion book product page on Amazon was also recently updated, and also on the Titan Book website, and the angle for this book is pretty awesome as it follows an American reporter who has followed DedSec's history from its emergence in the United States to its influence around the world and also its sudden disappearance in London. Like, there was actually a DedSec first in London, but they disappeared, and actually finding out what happened to them will be one of the storylines that you can follow in the game, so it should be pretty interesting. And this companion book has a sort of other angle to that as well. But yeah, we will likely have a new info very soon, especially if the game is releasing in August, and I don't see another option. Like, there's no other possible good release window for this game, in my opinion. Totally subscribe for everything Watch Dogs Legion if you haven't already. Like this video to support the channel, and totally check out my previous video on some big internal changes that are happening at Ubisoft right now and how it impacts their upcoming games. For now, I will speak to you next time, and goodbye.